We gather to rally around music making, and we could not think of a more appropriate featured artist today to rally literally all of us this morning. 6-time Grammy Award winning artist with 3 nominations next week, including Album of the Year. But most importantly, an artist who is equally as dynamic and passionate on and off the stage. And I mean dynamic we talked earlier this week in a car, dynamic. This morning at 6 a.m., dynamic. No matter where he is authentic and real and admits so much passion and creativity and cares deeply for creating a more musical world. Here at the NAMMSHOW for the first time in 10 years, please welcome back Mr. Jacob Collier. Great to have you.
Good. So nice to see you.
It's good to have you here.
How's everybody doing today? Oh, right. Fantastic.
You're coming off a world tour. You're on a world tour, taking a little break to come here. You've been traveling the globe and actually with very large audiences. So I want to get a sense for us, what are you feeling from the global audiences, right? What are you feeling from people that are coming out to experience music making all across the world?
Wow. Yeah, well, I think music is this unique language, as all of us in this room know, one of the most important and crucial languages on the planet, and it has an extraordinary ability to sort of unify people and remind people what we all have in common with each other, I suppose. So I've travelled all over the globe and played all sorts of different sizes of rooms and different types of people, and there's something about singing, there's something about joy, there's something about community. I think there's also something about the element of surprise. Leaning into the unexpected and sort of being courageous with what you have. I think the more I embrace that, the more I recognize how necessary it is in the world. And there's no language like music to remind you of those principles. I've had the best time traveling around. It's exhausting, but it is also delicious. I don't need to tell you just how important it is to kind of invest in people's imaginations, because you already know, but there's something about that I find so exciting about being on stage and completely removing the barrier between sort of this pedestaled position and where you all are. Because to me, I think that the best part about music is that we all are participants, and the more people are invited to contribute, thank you very much, the more magical it is. So I've sort of started to almost obsessively transform audiences into parts of the band, and the results are often really emotionally moving to me as a sort of conductor of sorts. And I just feel there's never been a more important time for music I've ever experienced. And I know I'm only young, but I do think that it's a massive, massive part of the world and of all the times that we've ever needed. I think now is one of the most important times, for sure.
Now is the most important time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We always want to get amazing, inspiring artists, and when we even thought of the idea of having you here, of course our whole office is giddy, and we had this call to do the ask. And you don't know this story, right? So we're doing the ask, and we're like, we're going to talk to Jacob's team, and they've talked to Jacob, and we sent the ask. You've had artists ask before. It was the easiest thing we've ever done. Like, you and your team, without hesitating, we said, we'd like you to come out. We'd like you to come, leave London, fly overnight, get in Friday night, not know what time it is, and be at sound check at 6 a.m. And we'd like you to play for free, and we'd like you, you're getting lots, look at all the exposure you're getting, Jacob. And we'd like you to talk about, and you said, why? I said, well, because we want to share with the world why music education is important for all of us. And you said, okay. Why? It was so easy.
Well, that's one of the easiest questions I've ever been asked. It's like, of all the things to stand for, this is the thing, Because, it is the thing. Because, when we learn, as someone once said this, it's always stuck with me, when we learn music, we learn all there is to know. We learn mathematics, we learn physics, we learn history, geography, we learn about the human body and how it works, we learn about empathy, about the heart, We learn about leadership, community, connection. We learn from each other. And the beautiful thing about music is that nothing is possible without first listening. Everything begins with listening. That's the world. And as the extraordinary Victor Wooten often says, who you just met, he is so special. He often talks about how when a child is small and they look up at the world and they learn about language and how to speak, the environment that they're placed in is a very singular one, because you're surrounded by masters of the language, but actually there's no judgment. You're not castigated or punished for your mistakes. You're just encouraged to play around and wiggle, Whereas in music education, sometimes people can be sort of straitjacketed and put on these rails and sort of told to walk in a straight line, but music doesn't work in straight lines. And I think that the more we as a community and we as, well, for me, I feel like I'm always a student of music, right? I'm always looking to learn, there's always more and more to learn. And those of us who are lucky enough to be in positions where we get to distribute some of this magic to others around us, we know the power that music holds to do those things, to tickle us into existence, And when you're a child, you seize whatever language you have around you, whether it's English or another spoken language, or whether it's music and body language and humor and all sorts of things, and we alchemize using these forces to make our world. You make your own world, and what better a material to make your world than music? But as you will know, what happens when people come together and collide forces musically is this immense kind of power of community and warmth and just joy. And I think a lot about joy. Joy, in a sense, is maybe a slightly misunderstood emotion, in the sense that people sometimes think of joy as being about being cheery all the time. Like, I'm just so joyous today. I'm too early to be joyous today, you could say. In that
Wait,
sense.
this is not joyous?
Yeah, well, this was my earliest ever cool time.
Oh, okay.
But I think what I mean by that is joy is bigger than happiness. It's bigger than cheeriness. Joy is about being honest and present and alive. And if you're alive in the world, then no matter what is going on, no matter what crazy things are going on, even the last few weeks have been absolutely confoundingly strange and bizarre and quite frightening for many of us. But I think that what music offers people a chance to do, and more importantly, the principles within music, when they're operated in these open-hearted terms, you have the ability to alchemize the world, whatever you see, whatever challenges you face, and transform it into, I would say, joy, meaning presence of mind, meaning connection with other people, meaning expansion, you could say, expansion of energy and honesty, and say, well, okay, I'm at NAMM today, this is my day, and I'm going to take what I have and what I'm lucky enough to be presented with, and I'm going to turn it into something good. And music does that. It turns the world into something good.
Yeah. Music turns the world into something good. You can see the graphic now. So we're here, last question, and we're here at NAMM, and of course, first and foremost, we represent the music products industry and all the amazing folks who make products. And I want to make sure I give a very special thank you to your product endorsers, Steinway, who brought us this beautiful piano at midnight last night to support Jacob. Taylor Guitars, your beautiful custom 10-string, and I'm so afraid you're going to walk back and kick, so I'll keep watching. And Native Instruments and Stromberg and all the folks that support you. But we have all of these. We have 1,852 companies representing 4,300 brands out there on the floor. But more importantly, they're all here to create a more musical world. And so this is what's really important to NAMM. You're one that we're about to see. You can pick up any product and just make it sing. It unites us. And how for you has your journey been with all the various products and working with our community? And how has that inspired you to be the music maker you are today?
Oh yeah, beautiful question. It is amazing what we have going on here, isn't it? So many minds that are all aligned for such a similar end. But when I was small, just this big, I looked at the whole world as a playground of sorts, and sort of rejected nothing in principle. I didn't decide to do this. That was just me, I think, as a child. And I grew up in a very interesting time for music, technology, musical instruments, because when I was about 5, you could buy a keyboard, and inside the keyboard you could find, say, 100 rhythms and 200 sounds, right? And there was a joyous process that many children, I think, like me, went through, where you sort of go, you know.
Yeah.
And I know all those keys and all those drum sounds. But, you know, you get to learn music and study music through listening to what's possible inside these systems. So what, you know, musical instrument builders and manufacturers and creators get to do is they get to make the world available to people who, if those people are given access to those instruments, can learn so much, not just about music, but about themselves and about all of us. So I feel so lucky to be brought up in a time where I had access to, you know, all these kind of these sounds and interesting things, and that became to me almost like my primary instrument, more than saying, oh, I'm a pianist, or I'm a guitarist, or a singer. I thought of myself as a musician first, and as a world builder, you know. And I spoke earlier on about it, how we all make our world. I think children are master world builders because they're master world perceivers. They're massive sponges. So the more materials we can provide kids with, people of the world with, to play and make worlds and make environments for them to live in, the better. And the thing that children understand inherently is that the world of the imagination is as important and as real, if not more, than the real world. And so we spend so much of our we spend so much of our time inside our minds. And so, in a sense, what we require is things with which to populate our hearts and minds that spark us and challenge us and give us access to the world in new and interesting ways. So, well, I guess when I think about the piano and what it's taught me, or the guitar and what it's taught me, or you can say something like logic and what logic has taught me as a canvas, it's kind of an astounding principle to get to throw all these things at the wall, see what moves you, see yourself reflected, and then think, oh, I guess that's who I am then. You know, because sometimes when we sit to make music, I have no idea what's going to come out when I sit at that piano. Hopefully something good at this early hour of the morning. But the question is always, you know, well, how am I doing today? I don't know. You know, and as I sit down and start to play, I do sort of figure it out. And so as a child, you know, you don't just sit and play music because, you know, it's something you're studying or something that, you know, you think is important, or you want to get rich or something. You wouldn't do that if you were a musician. That's not the thing you choose to do. You do it because you want to study yourself. And music is like a mirror in that sense. When you say, I'm going to interact with music and see myself. So I think my relationships with instruments at large are sort of ever changing, but I've never been particularly natively one instrument so much as just a believer in play with it whatever you can. And no matter what it is, if you go at it in the right way, you'll find something that opens your mind and teaches you something new. You know?
Well, would you give us the honor of maybe sitting down and seeing what comes out and open our minds and see something new and play some music for us?
Sure thing, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Just too good to be true. Caught in my eyes on you. You feel like heaven to touch. I don't know what to say. At long last, love is right. Thank God I'm alive. You're just too good. just too good to be true. Sing it. I don't know most love's right. I thank God I'm alive, but you're just too good to be true. Little blue, be my shelter, be my cradle, be my womb, be my boat, be my river, my river, be the stillness of the moon. If I could, I'd go with you to a place I've never lived. In your eyes, so dark and awful, there's a light that leads me back to you. My calm storm, be my darkness, or be my danger, be the strings of my guitar. Little blue, how I love you, seeing something strong, something true. In your eyes, so dark and open, there's a light that leads me back to you.